Good morning, everyone. We're back in studio, sort of. The Big Three. It is Carrie Champion, Skip Bayless, and Stephen A. Smith joins us from New York. Good morning, Stephen A. How are you?
Que pasa?
Oh.
Que pasa? What's going on, y'all?
You're still speaking San Antonian?
Yes, San Antonio.
Hey, they deserve it. They deserve it.
Hey, it is really weird in here right now
It's
because
so
it
bizarre.
is deadly quiet.
I know.
Stephen A., I'm in trouble today. I don't have my people behind me.
You don't have Skip.
You are. And it is weird for you, Skip, because I am accustomed to being around the people.
Oh.
You are a man of the people.
not.
He is a true
Yes, I
politician.
am.
You guys, let's just take a moment to say that we were very happy to visit both San Antonio and Miami. We had a wonderful time.
You.
We're grateful for the opportunity to meet our viewers, our fans. Thank you guys for choosing us. We appreciate you. We had a good time, did we not,
Carrie,
Stephen A?
Yes, we did. But, Carrie, I must admit to you that at some point in time today, we're going to have to talk about the outfit, the colors. I'm a little
okay.
thrown off. I'm a little thrown off.
Oh.
You know, I just need
This is
something.
the
It looks
first on
good.
this show.
I'm a little thrown off.
Wait, Stephen
sorry.
A. takes a shot at Carrie's wardrobe?
My wardrobe.
We are off to the
I'm just saying.
races.
It just threw me off, Carrie. It just threw me off.
Stephen A., it's something new. It's fashionable.
Carrie, for the record,
It's nice.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
it
you,
is,
Skip.
Carrie. Yes, it
You
is.
know what,
I'm just
Stephen
messing
A?
with you. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
All right, gentlemen, let's begin. Our Brian Windhorst was on the show yesterday, and he said that LeBron James has to make a decision about free agency on or before June 29th. Windhorst added that he is probably one of the most powerful free agents this time around because money not really an issue or a priority for him because of his off-the-court endorsement deals, adding there isn't a team that would not fight to have him. And as the deadline approaches, there are reports that the Heat will try to add Carmelo Anthony to keep LeBron. And now Yahoo Sports reports that LeBron and his wife love Los Angeles. They didn't say he was going there, but they love LA. Who would not, right, Mr. Bayless? Stephen A. Smith, the question is for you. What should LeBron do?
Well, in my opinion, he should stay in Miami, but that's assuming that Pat Riley and the Miami Heat do what they're supposed to do, which I have every confidence they will do. Pat Riley, for the most part, has lived up to his promises and has delivered on his promises to LeBron James. When LeBron James was in Cleveland, contemplating leaving the Cavaliers, to depart and take his talents to South Beach. It was Pat Riley that sat in front of him and laid down the rings and said, this is what it's all about. Here it is, what you want to do. And as a result of that, LeBron James has the first 2 championships in his NBA career and went to 4 consecutive NBA championships, not to mention captured 2 league MVP honors. And so when you look at it, there's no question that it was a successful run in South Beach. More importantly, Miami is an incredible recruiting tool. I think that people keep dismissing that. Yeah, they've got to do the job, and we understand they've got to clear the necessary cap space, whether it's Chris Bosh leaving, Dwayne Wade taking a pay cut, et cetera, LeBron James taking a pay cut. But I also think it's important to recognize that if you've got serviceable or viable pieces in place, Skip, it's real easy to convince somebody to go to South Beach, okay? Los Angeles is attractive, but regardless of what the report says, and Mark Spears wrote it, so we're not going to refute him. That's my man. It's one of my best friends in this industry. I love him dearly. He knows what the hell he's talking about and actually deserves more shine than he gets, to be quite honest with you. But I will tell you that on this particular issue, even though LeBron James doesn't mind L.A., he's never been enamored with that Hollywood scene. Sure, he would love to play with Chris Paul and for Doc Rivers, more so even than he would want to play alongside Kobe Bryant, having to carry that Laker torch and be one of the latest. He is a bit reticent about being seen as a mercenary, just going place to place, you know, to the highest bidder per se and whatever. So he has some sensitivities there. But there's also those California taxes, okay? Let's keep that in mind. Now, that may not matter to people, but to people who make money, you know what? I'm not the only dude out there saying I'm a proud capitalist, and I'm broke compared to these brothers. So let's keep in mind that the state of Florida, there is no state income tax. It is a first-class organization. It is one that is being run by Pat Riley instead of Jim Buss. And all of those things factor into the equation. So I would have to say Miami would obviously be ideal, but that doesn't mean that they don't have to do what they don't have to do. LeBron is going to meet with his dude, Rich Paul. Rich Paul is the agent of record. He represents LeBron. Of course, LeBron is going to talk to his wife, his lovely wife, Savannah. Definitely, she's going to have some input along with his kids. But in the end, it's going to be about him and Rich Paul, along with LRMR, you know, mingling together, getting together, and making the decision. Primarily Rich and LeBron making the decision about what's going to be in his best interest, and it's going to be contingent on the roster that LeBron James has to work with. Because if the roster ain't good enough, he ain't staying.
Okay, so for the record, before I answer the question, you have consistently said on this show, LeBron James is not a Hollywood kind of guy. So you are pretty much dismissing any even potential interest he might have in Clippers, where they can't fit him under the cap, or Lakers, where, as you say, he and Kobe probably wouldn't be a great fit at this point in Kobe's career. Am I right about that?
I would say to you, I'm dismissing the Lakers more than I'm dismissing the Clippers, because even though he's not the quote-unquote Hollywood kind of guy, the opportunity to play with the Chris Paul and for a Doc Rivers is incredibly appealing. But I would dismiss L.A. more so than Miami.
I'm not a capologist, but it just seems impossible to fit LeBron James under the current Clippers salary cap. So that seems to be eliminated. Go ahead.
No, it would have to be a trade, Skip. In other words, it would have to be like LeBron would have to say, I want to go to the Clippers, and then the Clippers would probably unload Blake Griffin or somebody like that. That's what would happen.
Then would LeBron be happy with that scenario? I don't know. Okay, back to the question. In the big picture, in the end, even though for the next 2 weeks we will get bombarded with what will LeBron do, he should, as you pointed out to start your answer, he should obviously stay in Miami. I think it's silly to even debate the possibility of going to Cleveland or going to New York or going to wherever else you want to talk about. Stephen A., we have lost all perspective on this. I just go back 1 week, just from Sunday night to the previous Sunday night. I watched Manu Ginobili sit at the podium after the Spurs had lost at home Game 2. Remember his quote? He said, "We have to play perfect basketball to beat this team because they are so much more athletic than we are."
That's true.
Okay, so we went from that moment to this moment, from Sunday to Sunday, when the Heat fell completely apart, and all of a sudden it's time to dismantle the Miami Heat. I'm going to remind you, as bad as Dwayne looked, Dwayne Wade in the last couple of games, 3 games, he's only 32 years of age. As bad as Chris Bosh looked in the last 3 games when he went 1 for 7 from 3 and wasn't that threat to bring Tim Duncan out of the lane that I thought he would be, he's only 30 years of age. So all of a sudden I say, really, what's wrong with the Heat? And I watched, as you did, our Chris Broussard and Brian Windhorst speculate about, well, Pat Riley could do this and this and this. He could bring in, and again, they were just throwing out names, a Luol Deng, a Chandler Parsons, maybe long shot Kyle Lowry, as Chris Broussard said. But I'm not going to bet against a Pat Riley. Stephen A., I'm not going to bet against a Dwayne Wade with an offseason to get better, even though he may have, as Brian told us on the show yesterday, arthritic knees that'll never really get good. I think he'll get better. I think by far the best place for LeBron, so that he doesn't have that mercenary label of constantly looking for the more help, next superstar. Can I go here? Can I go there? Somebody help me. Somebody better. Come and help me. Come and save me. If he doesn't want that reputation, he should stay in Miami and do what we just saw the San Antonio Spurs do last offseason. Revenge. Get back to the finals. Now they have some new motivation they have not had after having gone to 4 straight finals. As Bosh said after the game on Sunday night, you know, it was a grind all year. There was nothing happy about anything. We'd win and we wouldn't be happy.
Right.
Okay, now you start fresh. Now you start from 0 again, and you say, can we build this thing back up to where it should be, where it was 2 and 3 years ago? And I think that's his best chance. I don't want to hear about this or that. I know they all love to be loved and they love to be sought and all that, but come on, stop it.
But But let's be clear about something here. It's not about what you nor I nor anybody else wants to hear. We have to understand that what usurps that is LeBron's right to do what he wants to do without a heavy level of scrutiny, because it's not like he's going someplace where he's going to be second fiddle. He's the man that has his choosing. He may be the greatest free agent ever, and everything is in play. And if we think about this, Skip, it's almost like you and I. Let's make it relative to our industry to some degree. It's like you and I being on television. If we're just contributors or whatever the case may be, we try to fit in where we can get in. But First Take is first. We're the bomb right now. We're flowing. The show is incredibly successful. We have our pick of the litter.
You're welcome.
Excuse me. Well, it's just the truth. It's just the truth. Major props to you, bro, who's been holding it down for about 9 or 10 years. Take your compliments, okay? That's right. Yes, you have. My point to you is my point to you is this: when you look at it, Skip, that's like saying, well, you know what? We don't have we shouldn't want to entertain having our pick of the litter. Yes, we are proud to be at ESPN. Yes, we love working here. But at the same time, if every network under the sun came knocking on our door, you don't think we'd sit on top going like this? Life is pretty nice up here. Yes, we would, okay? So the point that I'm trying to make to you is that we can't fault a guy that's not even 30 yet in LeBron James having his pick of the litter and being in a position to choose where he wants to go and who he wants to play for because he's earned it. Now, if he hadn't won a title and he hadn't won league MVP honors and there was a resume rife with underachievement and disappointment and nothing else, then you would have a point. But when you are a 4-time league MVP, when you've been to the NBA Finals 5 times, when you have 2 rings, okay, and you've just finished going to the finals for a 4th consecutive time as the leader, you were driving. You weren't riding, you were driving. Well, then you kind of earned the right to have your pick of the litter without people saying, oh, you know what, that's weak, that's the cowardly way out, or whatever the case may be. I can't go at LeBron like that because he's done it. And I got to give him that respect. I hear what you're saying, because he's got to be careful about the mercenary tag. Sure. But at the same time, he's earned it. He's earned it. And if he makes, I don't think he'll do it, because I think it's Miami. I think it's Miami. But I'd have no problem with him going back to Cleveland, because I think that would be a fantastic story going home. But if he decided, if worst case scenario, Skip, if he stood up and said, you know what, I want to be a mercenary. I want to be the hit man. I don't knock him for that. He can do what he wants.
Okay. So would you encourage him to go back to Cleveland then?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No. I would encourage somebody to leave South Beach. What blasphemy coming out of your mouth?
The key to the city. You got it more than LeBron.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
It ain't happening. Of course he should go back to South Beach. Okay? I don't want to be in Cleveland in June. Sorry, Cleveland. Love you dearly. Great sports town. Hope the Browns do well too. But I'm not interested in going to Cleveland in June. I want to be in South Beach or New York. One of the two.
Okay, question.
LA a distant third.
This is interesting. You brought this up. Higher degree of difficulty right now to win next year in Cleveland or win next year in Miami? I'm talking about win a championship.
Skip, believe it or not, I would say Miami based on right now in terms of their health. If they're healthy, please. There's nothing to talk about. Cleveland's not even in their same class. But with young thoroughbreds, a Kyrie Irving, some size on your front line, and let's say they were smart enough to go and get Mark Jackson as their coach.
Okay.
Well, you know something? That would be kind of different for me. I mean, it would. But of course, I'm only saying that because Miami's health is questionable right now. And I think Dwayne Wade, listen, Dwayne Wade to me is a superstar when healthy. I don't care what anybody wants to say. That man didn't lose his game. He's just hurt. Okay. And he's got to get treated. He's got to get healthy.
So when you say health, it's only Dwayne Wade's health that you have questions about, not anybody else's health, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I'll go on record right now. I would applaud LeBron for going back to Cleveland right now, because I think it would be a much higher degree of difficulty. I would appreciate the guts it would take to go back home, quote unquote, to his home area, and try to lift that young team to a championship. Go do that, LeBron. I would be impressed.
Let's get. I got to tell you something, though, man. I can't rule out anything with LeBron because he, as an athlete, I've never seen anyone more about business than he is. Because he is a businessman. I mean, everybody's talking about this Beats by Dre thing. You know, they sold, they sold for $3.2 billion. Talking about LeBron got like a $30 million. They don't know what they're talking about. Skip, it's a whole lot more than that, brother. I'm here to tell you something right now. LeBron ain't starving for any dollars. That man is a businessman and very adroit at it, I might add. But what I will say is this. I just look at it right now, man, and I got to tell you, I read that letter yesterday on my radio show.
Yeah.
What Dan Gilbert wrote to him.
I know. It was strong.
In the aftermath of him leaving. And Dan Lebron came on my radio show to talk about it as well. It's hard to imagine that you could shrug that off. I mean, it was really bad.
Yeah.
All right. And speaking of LeBron, the man who